Hey, this is Dr. Drew Rubin bringing you another episode from ChiroSecure of Disruptive Pediatrics. I am going to share with you something, one of my favorite quotes from BJ Palmer today that I think really relates to a lot uh, of how chiropractors take care of people and what we can do. Like one of my favorite things that I like talking about is something that I guess called table talk. I don't know if they call it anymore, but back in the old DE days, it was called table talk. And what table talk is like how do you relate what you do to patients in a way that is kind of understanding and kind of makes sense to them, sort of a metaphoric way. And that's what I love what I'm going to talk about now from BJ because it's a beautiful metaphor. And then I'm going to show you a way that I kind of use to talk to people about chiropractic and the power that is within our body. So let's go to the slides, please. Thank you. And I'm gonna read this. This is from BJ Palmer from The Bigness of the Fellow Within in 1949. We chiropractors, oh, this inner power speaks. This inner power speaks. We chiropractors work with the subtle substance of the soul. We release the prison impulse, the tiny rivulet of force that emanates from the mind and flows over the nerves to the cells and stirs them into life. We deal with the magic power that transforms common food into living, loving, thinking clay, that robes the earth with beauty and hues and scents the flowers with the glory of the air. In the dim, dark, distant long ago, when the sun first bowed to the morning star, this power spoke, and there was life. It quickened the slime of the sea and the dust of the earth and drove the cell to union with its fellows in countless living forms. Through eons of time, it finned the fish, and it winged the bird, and it fanged the beast. Endlessly it worked, evolving its forms until it produced the crowning glory of them all. With tireless energy, it blows the bubble of each individual life, and then, silently, relentlessly, dissolves the form and absorbs the spirit into itself again. And yet you ask, can chiropractic cure appendicitis or the flu? Have you more faith in a knife or a spoonful of medicine than the innate power that animates the internal living world? So that's B.J. Palmer's Bigness of the Fellow Within, 1949. And within this particular volume, one of my favorite, like if you got to start with a green book, you don't have any green books, you want to start reading one, read this one. This is my favorite green book. The Bigness of the Fellow Within, 1949. In it, a few chapters later, it talks about what they call the big idea, right? And the get the big idea, all else follows. You may have heard that before. That's what I want you to understand is that this inner power that we're dealing with, this subtle substance of the soul. Like, look at what BJ did with these words. In no way did he talk about subluxations, spine, bones. No, what he talked about is that we're working with the subtle substance of the soul, which is the inner power, right? We're working with the nerve system. That's why I always say, I am not a back doctor. I am not a bone doctor. I am a brain and nerve system specialist. That's what I do. BJ talked about it. Even D.D. Palmer, when he first talked about it in his first book, he said founded on tone, not bone, right? He didn't say founded on bone. He said founded on tone. Tone is from the nerve system. We are nerve system specialists. So I have a question for all you viewers and listeners out there. And there's a lot of answers to this. There's a lot of correct answers to this. But what's one of the most powerful things on earth? And there's a lot of very powerful things on earth. We could think like, well, lightning is super powerful, right? Maybe a tornado is super powerful. Maybe someone like Dwayne The Rock Johnson is super powerful. But I'm going to show you something that's truly powerful and more powerful than all of that, and that's life. The life force is so unbelievably strong. So there's a lot of beautiful national forests right near where I live in my office here in Atlanta. And I love going through there and taking pictures like this because look at the power of life. And here's a tree that fell down and maybe it was like shaved, like chopped off straight to prevent someone getting injured along a path. But look at the power of life of these other plants and moss, etc., growing on this, right? Reusing this. Like that's powerful, right? There's like no soil on this tree. But these seeds have like found a way, this moss has found a way. Look at this. A tree that you can see the root and how it fell like this. And I couldn't get the whole tree in one picture, but those like branches you can see, those branches are living. So even though the tree somehow fell and died, there are now branches of the tree, 3 branches that are living off of the base of this. And what's happening also is that you can see the green or reddish kind of moss that is on, or brownish. I'm colorblind, so I have no idea what color it is. So whatever color moss that is on the trunk of the tree that fell down, right? It's slowly eating this thing up, and it's going to bring all this down like this. And then what will probably happen is those small trees, those 3 small trees that are coming off this will probably root into the ground. That's power, right? Look at the power of the moss on this, eating this thing up, right? So now you could say, well, how powerful is that? It's going to take like 15 years. Can you do something like this, right? Think about that. If you were like this tiny little organism, this tiny little fungi or moss, and you said, I want to eat this tree, right? Like, think about the power of these tiny little cells that are like nesting essentially on this tree that died and saying, I'm going to eat you up until you're nothing, until there's nothing left. And then what's going to happen is something will grow in its place. Wow, that's power. That is power, right? Look at this, how the tree is getting hollowed out by the power of these fungi and the bacteria and the moss, and it hollowed out the inside, it's hollowing out the outside. This is the inner power, right? And this is the inner power that resides in each one of us. This is the inner power speaking, right? So I use this as an example with our patients, and I talk to them about, like, this is unbelievably powerful. These little cells can take down a tree and eat the tree up. Our body has the same ability, and I had a kid yesterday say, I have a boo-boo, I have a boo-boo. He showed me his finger. And I said, what's going to happen? It's what? I said, how's it going to fix itself? He said, he's like 5. He said, I don't know. I said, well, what's going to happen? He was bleeding. He cut himself. I said, what's going to happen? He said, well, the bleeding will stop. Yeah. And then who did that? He said, I don't know. And I said, and then what happens after the bleeding stops? Well, I put a Band-Aid on it. Well, that's good. But then, like, you take the Band-Aid off, and what's going to come after? A scab. Right. Where did that come from? Did you put it there? No. How did it know to get there? That's the inner power inside you. That's the inner power inside you. But look, you can look outside and you can see the inner power of these living creatures, right? This is a living creature having inner power also. It's just we can see it, right? In this big way. We can understand what's going to happen, but it takes time. And that's another really big thing with power is patient. Right? We are in this rush society. We're on our phones all the time, and we want quick answers. And how come the person didn't text us back? And I'm looking at those dots, saying, "Wait, what's the person going to say? What's the person going to say?" Right? But true power is patience. Patience, being able to sit and say, "We're going to gather all our moss friends on this one big, log of a tree, and you and I are going to get together, and over the course of a year, 2 years, 5 years, we're going to eat this tree up. And we're in no rush." And that's what I try to tell our patients too, is a lot of people, they want quick answers. They want quick, 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 quick. I want to feel better. I want my kid to do this, this, this. It takes time. It takes time to shift the pattern, right? This branch just fell down. This trunk just fell down. It's going to take time to take this branch down to its smaller units, right? You can't rush it. You can't say, hey, Moss, hurry up, buddy. Hurry up. We need this done in like a week, okay? It's say, no, we're going to take 5 years. And that's where we need to have that kind of patience and explain that kind of patience with our practice members. So if you want to hear more about how I take care of kiddos, especially kiddos on the spectrum, which is my favorite thing to do, I teach for the ICPA. We also teach virtually. We're going to be doing a pediatric midline defect seminar virtually in April and in December. So you can always check that out virtually too. And I'm all around the country speaking. So I'm excited to see you wherever you go. I would love to hear you comment on my podcast. ChiroCast is over 600 episodes. I've been doing ChiroCast since 2015, I think it is. So it's now 10-year anniversary. There's over 600 free episodes. So please let me know what you think of it. It's on every possible major podcast platform. And ultimately, what our job is to protect our future. And the way we protect our future is to just more kiddos. I want to thank ChiroSecure for having us. ChiroSecure has always been on our side. They have been a force for us. I joined ChiroSecure when I graduated in 1989. So I graduated. The first thing I did was I joined. It wasn't called ChiroSecure back then. It was called something else. But I joined ChiroSecure back then with Stu Hoffman, and I've been with him ever since. And I absolutely appreciate what that family has done for chiropractic. And I appreciate you guys being here for another episode of Disruptive Pediatrics. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.
Today's pediatrics show, Look to the Children, was brought to you by ChiroSecure.